Hello everybody and welcome to this quick video of myself and Nick Carpenter. And we are going to be talking about and demonstrating a little bit the importance of warming up. So obviously as a clarinet player, we were just talking actually about how much warming up Nick does, and it's probably more than most of us do practice per day. So maybe. So let's just talk at the outset, Nick, about the importance of warming up, whether you're a student at 1 year in, 5 years in, or a working professional. What is the real crux of why you need to warm up?
Well, ultimately, playing any instrument, playing the clarinet, any instrument, is a physical thing. It's physical. We're engaging our core muscles in terms of blowing, because that's basically what we're doing, blowing, and we're engaging our finger muscles, wrists, arms, whatever, in terms of finger work. And like anybody who does anything physical, athletes, when would you ever see Usain Bolt just get out of his tracksuit and sprint 100 metres? You wouldn't. He warms up. And we all warm up for that very reason, to kind of loosen the muscles. So it doesn't matter whether you've been learning 1 year or 100 years, you still warm up. Okay, so, and that's why. It's absolutely fundamentally important to what we do.
So from that point of view, your warm-up routine perhaps is aimed at obviously hitting those points. So there's dexterity reasons to get yourself moving, obviously warming and the actual physical instrument up from a pitch, depending on where you are and everything else, and also getting your ears working as well to a degree, isn't there?
Yes.
So actually, what's interesting, just from what would a normal warm-up time be for you? And does that vary depending on your commitments throughout the day and what may be coming after it?
Yeah, without question. If I've got a day when I'm not actually working and I've set aside for practice, 3 hours I could typically do, then I would consider the first hour would be warming up. It's only after then I think, right, now I'm ready to go. And for me, the warm-up has, since the age of 18, has invariably been the same. I'm really a creature of habit, I suppose. But it seems to have worked. And for me, it's the Vademecum book, which seems to cover everything. The first exercise, you're doing two things at the same time with the first exercise. You're basically holding a very long tone and also working your fingers just very slowly, gradually, and going up bit by bit throughout the range. So the first exercise, I'll just demonstrate. The first exercise starts. And so on, okay. And then you just go up a semitone at a time. If I've got time, I will do that once at that speed, and then... and so on, double speed, and repeat it. And that's I just tell you, you can hear I'm thinking about, really my focus on that warm-up is getting the core, getting the air flowing, warming up the embouchure muscles, and gradually just getting that some degree of flexibility and warmth in the fingers as well.
So if obviously some people might be thinking, well, I'm very short of time. If they're busy doing other things in life, or, the clarinet for them might be something they can only give a certain amount of time to. If they have a family, it's absolutely natural, isn't it? So are there things that you would aim to get hit if somebody really had 10, 15 minutes just to get covered in a warm-up? What do you think are the key things to think about?
Well, I think you could, in the same way that I've done that, I think you can combine, for instance, you could combine very slow scale work. And so you're using your slowly fingers, and you're thinking about your core because you're playing it so slowly. You don't have to worry maybe about playing the right notes. So you could use an F major scale as a warm-up. Slowly, so you're thinking about how you're using your air. You're listening to the quality of the tone. To do that, your embouchure's working, but also your fingers are. You're just waking the fingers up. So a warm-up could easily be. You could do that piano, you could do it forte, you could crescendo through it, you could diminuendo through it. There's all sorts of possibilities, all of which are engaging the core, the different elements of playing the clarinet. And if you did that just for 3 minutes at the beginning of your practice, and actually, if you're preparing for an exam, you could think, well, what's my most difficult scale? Okay, then maybe it's, I don't know, A-flat major. So you could do a very slow A-flat major, and that gets me on to another favourite topic of mine, which is practice. Maybe we'll talk about that later. Practice at the speed of no mistakes, which is an absolute key concept, I think. So you could do your warm-up in the most difficult scale, playing at the speed of no mistakes, and you're covering so many different things all at the same time.
And it's not just about getting warmed up, then it's also helping you when you come to the playing.
Absolutely.
Because I know a lot of, if you are pinched for time, you always think, there's this passage I really need to concentrate on, and we're going to do a separate video about practice, which might help you with that. But some of these techniques you use in your warm-up are going to come back to you and help you later on when you get to the performance sort of thing. So just actually, whilst we're talking about warming up and staying kind of nimble, when you're faced with a 6-hour orchestral rehearsal or whatever it might be that you get thrown into, what are some of the things that you're having to do during that time to keep A, the clarinet at pitch, and B, yourself sharp? And because we talked, there can be long gaps, can't there?
Yeah, there can be.
Suddenly, you've got to do it.
Yes, absolutely. Keeping the clarinet up at pitch is maybe not such an issue because normally one rehearses in an environment where the temperature is fairly stable and quite warm as well. I mean, there are obviously outdoor gigs in the middle of April or September can be an issue with pitch and temperature, but generally that's not such an issue. I find, professional musicians will always get to their rehearsal half an hour before, in general, at least half an hour before. And that half an hour is spent warming up. If they haven't already done it at home, it's spent warming the instruments up, and both, of course, for clarinet, it's both instruments, B flat and A, warming the fingers up. And then, I suppose, in the course of the day, yes, you might have 100 bars rest to count, but it's not normally enough sitting still where you can't. You're worried about when you pick the instrument up that you're not going to be able to play it again in terms of pitch or in terms of dexterity. But there are issues, I think if you're in an opera orchestra, that can be, Mozart opera, say something like The Marriage of Figaro, the clarinet, so you're playing one number, so, you have nothing to do for half an hour. And then so you need to just be aware that when you come in, you're picking up a cold instrument. So in which case, the previous aria, I would certainly be holding the instrument. I would just be blowing some warm air down it just to keep it warm, make sure that when I do come in, it's still.
Spot on.
Hopefully spot on.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, hopefully that's kind of covered the point of how important the warming up is. And I think that's kind of the big thing we wanted to get across. Yeah. We understand people may have more or less time to do that. So we'll put in the show notes about the book that Nick uses as well. But I think anything you can do just to get yourself moving, get yourself thinking, and see it as part of the whole practice regime.
It is vitally important, as I say. It doesn't have to be fast. People think warm-up, fast. No, warm-up is just... I suppose you're warming your mind up as well, getting yourself into a state where you're ready to focus and concentrate. Because practice, we go back to practice again. Practice without concentration is kind of, you think, is it worth it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
okay, well,
another video.
Yeah, stay tuned. Okay, thank you, Nick, and we shall be back in the next couple of videos.